Hey, it's the Nerdy Sports Fan, and we're talking NFL Draft. It's only a few days away, so we got to get right into it. We're doing the mock draft simulator on thedraftnetwork.com using their predictive board. I'm using one team at a time going up against computer simulations so I can get a good feel of what the options may be, especially if you do this a few times. I suggest you do it yourself. We're getting into the NFC North. Now, probably my favorite team to talk about in this division for this offseason is the Packers. Now, there have been a lot of changes for the Packers. Okay, obviously, they changed coaches. They've got a young offensive mind as a head coach, which was kind of what they did when they hired Mike McCarthy. But this guy seems to gel at this point a little bit better with Aaron Rodgers, maybe a little bit more cerebral. So they might have a better relationship than what was there with McCarthy last year. And the GM, instead of going the Ted Thompson route, which is just draft, he's actually picked up some free agents. So that's got to be very interesting for you Packer fans out there. You got Zadarius Smith out of Baltimore to help fix that pass rush. Amos, safety out of the Bears. Help that defensive secondary. I mean, this is not the kind of thing the Packers have typically done. And plugging in those very obvious need position holes in free agency has let them just have some flexibility coming into the draft. So they can really just go after best player available or the person that they think is going to contribute most in year one, which is very, very important now coming late into Aaron Rodgers' career. You want to make sure that you get the most out of that guy's talents these last few seasons he's going to end up being in the league. Now, because of that, at pick number 12, I went with Jonah Williams, offensive tackle out of Alabama. I get it. You still got Balaga. Sure. Push him over to right tackle. Okay, it's late in his career, and a guy like Jonah Williams will help strengthen that offensive line and keep that $30 million man and Aaron Rodgers on his feet. That's huge. Okay, you don't want him playing with a broken leg like he did last year. Okay, I get it. The guy's tough, but he's also fantastically talented, and if you make it so he's not running scared every down, you can do a lot better on that offense. So protecting him should be the number one most important thing to do. Now, at pick number 30, they've got a lot of options, and you'll see this in a lot of mock drafts. Noah Fant fell to this position, and I could not resist. Okay, they have been trying to fix the tight end position in Green Bay for a few seasons now. They got Mercedes Lewis. They have, Jimmy Graham. And both of these guys are at the end of their careers. They're formerly good players that are really just kind of hanging on for dear life at this point in their careers. They obviously aren't the answer. Okay, they haven't been the past few seasons, so you need to move on. Noah Fant is the most talented receiving tight end in this draft. He's better as a receiver than his counterpart in T.J. Hockenson. I don't care what anybody tells you. He's just not as good of a blocker as Hockenson is. So he's not well-rounded. I don't care. Neither is Travis Kelce. Okay? Tight end position is just a matchup nightmare receiver for most teams in the league. And if you don't get with that program, you're going to miss out on some really talented players. That's the whole reason Fant falls to this area in a lot of mock draft simulations. But it's just dumb to me, okay? Some of the best tight ends in the history of the league have gone in this position or lower. Just look at Gronkowski, okay? This guy is arguably the best tight end ever, definitely the best tight end of his generation. He went in the second round, okay? So Fant at this position makes a hell of a lot of sense to me, giving more depth to this receiving group. Adams is fantastic, all right? But who else do you have? Most of the other guys are leftover parts that are looking better than they actually are because Aaron Rodgers is as gifted as he is. So give him some real talent at tight end. Watch that offense blow up. Now at pick number 44, I was able to go to Nasir Adderley, a defensive player I really love. And normally I have him going in the first round, but he fell to this position, so why not? Obviously, you have Amos, okay? But if you add Adderley to that, all of a sudden this defensive secondary is a force to be reckoned with. And I can't resist strengthening a strength so you can become even more dominant. At pick number 75, I went with Kelvin Harmon, wide receiver out of NC State. Again, create some multiplicity to this offense, all right? Give better options for your man Aaron Rodgers. And think about this. What they did in free agency, if you combine that with a draft like this that really attacks some offensive and defensive needs, as long as the coach has a slightly better rapport with Aaron Rodgers, you can do some damage in Green Bay. And I expect it, okay? The rest of the division is not as strong, all right? I don't care what people say about Cousins. I don't care what people say about what the Bears did last season. This is a ripe for the picking division, and with what was done in free agency and this kind of draft, the Packers can pounce and get right back onto the top of the NFC North, back into playoff contention. This is a year they can make a deep run if they get things right on the coaching end of things. Comment with who you think the Packers should go after in the draft, and keep this conversation going up right up until draft day.